We are now going to have a panel on the future of commerce with redeemable NFTs. Gentlemen, please come to the stage.
Hi everyone, I'm BoYu, and I will be hosting this session, and we will be talking about redeemable NFTs, how they are applied in commerce. And here are our fellow session speakers, and they are all great, talented, and have their visions and thoughts in this particular field. So I will have everyone introduce themselves. So starting from Guillermo.
Hey there, my name is Guillermo. I come from a business background. I've had some experiences in the corporate world, P&G, HP. Currently, I am working on a big tech, helping startups and the fastest growing startups in my country, Spain, to keep growing and to scale up.
Hi, is this on? Yeah. Hi, my name is Roland. I'm the founder of Nextbase. We're building CRM and analytics software for brands entering Web3 from a Web2 perspective. And yeah, that's about it.
Hey guys, my name is Matej Zimák, or in the Web3 ecosystem, you could say Matt Bullish. Nowadays more, I guess, rather Matt Bearish in the current bear market, but oh well. I have co-founded this NFT art digital collective called NFT.London, through which we have made an art NFT collection. I also in a Web3 VC for some time. And I'm advising several Web3 projects from blockchain gaming to sustainable fashion. And currently now I'm working in a Web3 music startup called Museverse and a blockchain music line. So if you are into music, definitely let's chat. Thanks.
Yep. And finally, I'm BoYu. I'm from Redeemer, and we are building a redeemable redeem protocol, which allows NFTs, once connect with our protocol, become redeemable NFTs, meaning that each NFTs can be tied to real-life values or assets. So you can trade physical items as if they're tokens. You can trade real-life experience as if they're tokens and enjoy the wonderful benefits of Web3. And here we are today talking about the future of e-commerce, especially with redeemable NFTs. So the first questions I would like to propose to everyone is, how do you see the future of e-commerce is with redeemable NFTs? What's the trend and what's the vision you guys are seeing like? So yeah, Matt, should we go ahead first?
Absolutely, thanks. So I think there's several things actually in the industry. One thing is that what we see already now is that all the first screen platforms, major platforms like Twitter and Shopify, Instagram, they're already integrating NFTs and now enabling any interaction, so from selling, collecting, etc. But also I think we will see more and more Web2 brands trying to enter the Web3 space and either using NFTs pretty much to monetize on the existing customers and audience, or partnering with some Web3 projects or NFT communities to actually reach new audiences. I think also another thing is that I think there will be a lot of token-gated commerce. So the idea of exclusivity and eliteness, that you'll basically need to do something or attend or be a holder of certain NFT, or in some community that you'll be able to buy certain merch or some limited editions. I can definitely see this in high-end fashion, and also I can absolutely see NFTs being implemented with goods which are high demand but low supply. So anything from wait lists, high-end fashion, I think NFTs are actually a perfect use case there, because it's unlocking the liquidity and ownership, and also it allows interaction with that ownership. So
yeah, thanks for sharing. And Roland, you have something? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So coming from the brand's point of view, you have to really realize that they only care about the email of the customer and their e-commerce shop, and that's about it. They want to get your email and get you to their website as soon as possible. Everything else is a means to an end. And going into Web3, you have to kind of understand that and augment that. First of all, email and website is 20 years old plus technology. That is still kind of the fundamental block they have in their digital strategy. So now the question is, how do you augment that with wallets, right? The fact that I can send you stuff in your wallet, and I can communicate with you, and you can interact with my brand from your wallet, could be the next platform that they really want to adopt. But one thing is sure, they don't want intermediaries. They don't want to depend on anyone to create experience. They want full control on the experience and full control on the customer. and the data they generate while interacting with the brand. So everything that's going to be implemented in future of redeemables or anything would really be summarized into like these few ideas. How can I control the whole experience of my customer, and how can I lock him or her into my whole ecosystem?
Thanks, Roland. And I would like to present myself a different kinds of point of view. By doing redeemable NFTs, we actually can get a lot of great things that are not originally on the physical aspects, especially those on the blockchains, the NFTs. You all see great applications and high fluidities in NFTs. Now they can be brought into the physical world, meaning that you can have a totally new way of doing your business rather than just creating great stuffs. You can have the community building, let the people build the products at the same times, and you produce all these great products and sell them to your community. Also, you do get a nice boost of great composability. People can get your NFT and have different developments on top of it. And you can also bring tokenomics into the retail business, which is a game changer for all future commerce. You're not just producing things and selling things and trying to find the right customers. You're actually asking the customers to join in your whole sales or whole products that you're actually building. And there are a lot of great examples which I will share on later, but I'd like to ask if Guido has some more visions on this part.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that when it comes to what I see, or I see a lot of potential when it comes to the future of e-commerce with NFTs, I think it's super interesting to see how, during COVID, all pure e-commerces went all to the roof. They were getting more sales than ever. But now that we're getting back to, usual, they need to differentiate in a way, right? They need to make the difference somehow. And I see businesses struggling a lot when it comes to how do we retain or how do we get more lifetime value from each single customer, right? So I think that when it comes to implementing NFTs for loyalty programs or evolving the current status quo to making the difference that I was saying, differentiate yourself and make something special that only your best customers can get, or only certain people who attend certain things, you can really expand much more on that sense and just bring it up to the next level. So I'm super excited to see how businesses start figuring out how they can implement NFTs to bring more lifetime value from their customers and bring the loyalty programs to a whole other level.
And another part is we are also seeing the potentials of fragmented market, meaning that you can sell for example, these shoes, you can sell them in games or even have them acquired in games in the forms of NFTs. And these are not, you do not have to plan this at the first stages. You can have an evolving business as most NFT projects can do on all the physical parts. And you can, as Gil said, you can acquire your most loyal people, for example, the heavy players, so you can have the people who are most interested in your projects, in your products, buying with you. So we've shared a lot on our visions. You guys can perhaps share more, but we would like to focus on our next question is, do you guys see any particular showcases that you think are very interesting and worth sharing especially on redeemable NFTs and e-commerce of the next stage, Web 3.0? So
maybe I would kick this one off again. So when it comes to use cases, I think there is certain things. I mean, there is plenty of examples, and I'm sure that my colleagues will talk plenty on those. But for example, two I would mention recently, and they are pretty visible in the market. One is Ledger and one is Puma. Both of these brands actually enrolled their own kind of let's say NFT passes, their keys to their Web3 ecosystems. But what was actually pretty interesting about these both was that it started off the users were minting an NFT, and they were starting off basically minting some key to the ecosystem. But during this later phase, the NFT either would split into this NFT that you would use as a key to the ecosystem, to the community, etc. But also you would get another NFT, which was actually a redeemable NFT for some physical item. So, for example, Ledger, what they did actually pretty recently is that they would airdrop, or they would make a snapshot of all the holders, and they would airdrop another NFT, which will be redeemable to actually for the audience or for the NFT holders to get to get the ledger. And Puma did something similar. But I would say maybe one more thing. As I was like saying before, so NFTs are pretty interesting like model to use in these high demand and low supply goods. So for example, there is like this startup focused on wine. I think it's OpenVino. They made introduction like on EFCC. And I really love this model actually, that like the idea that like you are waiting for, like you're on some wait list and you're waiting for some like, some valuable wine, it will like take long to deliver. So you actually get an NFT which encloses your right to ownership or like to claim that bottle of wine, right? But what is actually interesting is that like it completely like unlocks the liquidity of your ownership, like of that right. So for example, with time you are able to sell it on the secondary market, or you are able to burn it to actually claim that bottle. But what is also interesting is that it completely like creates a new market, because as you can actually sell this on secondary marketplace, then you're, for example, creating royalties for that owner or that manufacturer, and it's completely like a new model where like the manufacturer gets new income. So I think that's a very interesting use case. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sorry about because I have very something to say about what Matej just presented, because we're actually, we as a Redeem protocol, we support a lot of different projects, and we do see a lot of projects are actually benefit from these kind of new physical model. For example, the shoes here, they actually have these shoe NFTs, which per 90 days they get a redeemable NFT drops, and they launched several different collaborations so that the people will trade different redeemable NFTs to each other, and of course during the trading he gets the royalties. So this is a whole new way of gathering resource and gathering interest from all of their fans and all of their like customers. You don't have to like make something and try to sell them. You actually create a community, and that's everything's fluids between them. And you can also see these toys. It's a more gamified approach. You collect different NFTs and try to combine these into like cute little robot, Ultraman here, and so you are able to like combine all these things, and they are made by great manufacturers like Beast Kingdom. So people do see some like certain values and the things they love, and they're not just collecting digital assets, they are owning the physical items that they are owning, and these are some of the great use cases we have seen. So
yeah, I can add two more like kind of applications on top of what we've already discussed. So again, coming from a brand's point of view, you can do really multiple things, but two applications I'm currently thinking a lot about are how do you use NFTs as the social currency that Instagram and all the other social platforms are allowing, customers of Nike, customers of Puma to really have. So clothes give you, how should I say it? Yeah, society credits, society currency. The fact that you wear a brand, you are affiliated with a community or ideation or whatever. So NFTs really are going to be seen kind of like the digital version of that. So what you wear now is going to be like what your profile is wearing, right? So you can think of avatars and things like that in the future, but really what NFTs you have on your Instagram is going to dictate how you're being seen, right? So you have your verified check, you have your number of followers, now you have the NFTs you have. So it's very simple for a brand to really get into this kind of like reward your customers with, influencer currency or this type of kind of dopamine effect ownership triggers by just tagging an NFT to a purchase, right? So I buy some sneakers from Nike, I get some NFT from Nike, which could be artwork, could be 3D version of the sneaker, anything that would give me the same type of sensation of being part of that. And someone seeing my Instagram, for example, being able to see that I'm a Nike customer. On the other hand, you also have like these more like complex multi-part applications of redeemables, which is, okay, I'm doing like an item drop, right? So I'm Supreme. I'm dropping 100 t-shirts tomorrow at noon. You have the choice of redeeming it as an item or as an NFT. If you choose to have it as an NFT, that means first, you can sell it on secondary markets. Second, you can implement these royalties and other mechanisms into the whole experience. Third, you can guarantee the item is original and in mint condition. It never left the factory. It never left the depot or whatever. So the fact that a lot of sneaker drops, T-shirts drops, all these are being kind of used to create hype and then used to be sold on 10x prices on secondary markets, as NFTs, as digitals, is going to be even more seamless and even better experience for the buyer and also for the seller.
Yeah, for example, these shoes got traded like more than 200 times when first launched. It is impossible for physical items to have these kind of trading frequencies. So this is another great use cases of how redeemable NFTs will change how people trade. Yeah.
Yeah, and finally, who around here is into streetwear? Anyone's interested in streetwear? Do you guys know Artifact? Probably you do, right? I think Artifact is a great example of how the founders come from the streetwear world, right? They knew about the culture, which is a big thing on Web3, NFTs. I trusted that project from the very beginning because I knew that they understood the core of it and they would be able to move that into the NFT space. And afterwards, they were acquired by Nike. It was one of these big things going on. And I think they are doing it really well, as in making big brands to implement NFTs. They just currently collaborated with Rimowa, and I think this will help a lot to bring the massification of NFTs and people to actually understand what's the purpose of it. Also, adding on to this, I think another interesting example is Adidas. Not just to say the product itself, but the concept of making an original NFT that then evolves into 3 different NFTs. Each different NFT gives you a specific item. So let's say the first evolution is a T-shirt, the second one is a pair of socks, the third one is, I don't know, a pair of pants. Let's say you're just interested in the T-shirt. You get the NFT at the very beginning, you redeem your T-shirt, but then let's say you don't really like the socks or the pants that are coming afterwards. Well, you can sell the evolution of that NFT you initially got from a profit because it's limited, and at the same time you get something from it for your real life, right? So I think that's a second example that's super interesting. And finally, Jeff Staple, who's not a really big known guy, as in everyone knows his name, but he's a big guy in this industry. He's collaborated with all major brands. And I think the work he's doing, as in collaborating with, let's say, Shopify to integrate how NFTs can work with commerce and get access to things only through NFTs is super interesting. He was one of the first ones to actually integrate NFTs with Shopify, and super interesting. To get access to buy certain clothes, you need to have the NFT on your wallet, and then once you connect your wallet on Shopify, you can get access to that collection. So I think these 3 examples are quite interesting. Of course, most of them are from fashion, but I think that what we need right now is brands that really, or businesses that really know how things work to collaborate with big brands, let's say LVMH. LVMH, I think, will be a big group that whenever they start using NFTs, pretty much a lot of people will get to know what NFTs can do, and I think it will have a lot of potential. So I could see Artifact collaborating with LVMH at some point to help into that massification on NFTs, yeah.
Thanks for sharing. And we will launch into our next topic. Digitals and metaverse are a hot topic right now. So how do you guys see redeemables combined with digitals or metaverses? Yeah, just go ahead.
So when it comes to digitals, to be honest, I think we are still pretty early. The idea, I can see this the opening industries. I can see, for example, wearables being a clear case, where high-end fashion will definitely try to tap into this market where you will, for example, I don't know, get with some high-profile clothing brand or item that you will also get a digital copy of that. But I think this is also strongly related to the your real need to actually have these digital items, right? So I think it's also correlating with, I don't know, for example, how much we digitally interact also in the metaverse and what are actually the technological possibilities there, because I need to actually have the reason to actually, for example, for my avatar to wear digital artifact sneakers or something like that. So I think when it comes to clothing, I think that's an obvious one, but it's closely related to really the need, because I mean, the digitals, it's more like, I mean, one thing is, for example, when you have PFP, and like that's like some kind of like a proof of your social status. You have Bored Ape Yacht Club or something like that. But that's one thing, but and you use it as a social profile. But the next level is where you really like interact with some digital item, and your avatar wears it. So that like the predisposition of that is that you really need to digitally interact and spend some time, for example, in the metaverse. So, and I think that will still take a while. But yeah.
So, Roland, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, have a hot take on this. Well, we already live in the metaverse, so the fact that we kind of became cyborgs with phones attached to our bodies, it's the proof of that. Our profiles are really what social media dictates, right? So I find someone interesting now, I look on their LinkedIn, I look on their Instagram. So who you are in the digital matter way more than who you are in the real life. That's all we care about. This is the matrix, and this is how currently is operating. And we, again, live in the metaverse. So the idea of having 3D avatars living in virtual worlds is just a next iteration of that. But everything that we are currently used to do right now, it's defined as the metaverse. It's defined as us living digitally more than in the real life. So again, speaking in terms how NFTs can really bring everything that we have realistically in terms of clothes, social currency, all these, bring them to our social media profiles, to how we communicate and how we look like, right? Like the fact that I have a check mark, again, it may sound like bullshit, but it's like what really defines you as an influencer or not. Twitter, $8 a month for the blue check mark. Why do people care about that, right? It's kind of like the proof of how you look on these social profiles. It's like how you actually are being perceived by the rest of the world. So that's my hot take. Next.
On the other hand, I do think that people are thinking metaverse as games, or you wear goggles, you have an immersive experience. But I do think that the metaverse is all about the immersive part. And you don't have to wear goggles in metaverse, actually, because if we are doing digitals and doing redeemables correctly, you can actually interact with your digital assets everywhere in the world. And that's why Redeemers keep on building protocols that connects all parts of their lives. Because if you can interact with your avatars, your digital wearables, your digital collectibles in real life, that essentially makes your first universe into the first metaverse, which is heavily tied to your life, and you can enjoy all sorts of benefits from Web3, and at the same time you can feel all the products. And that, I believe that's the beauty of redeemable NFTs.
Yeah, I'll just add on a quick note, because I know we're quite a bit short on time, but like for me, I think that the interesting part on physicals is how you can add that extra layer of customization into your virtual world, the metaverse, right? Like right now, when you have any sort of meeting or any sort of engagement online, there's no way for you, in a way, to differentiate. Like everything is quite basic or generalized in a way. I think that with the implementation of metaverse, whatever platform you call it, it doesn't really need to be something specific. Whenever you can add on your things that define yourself, the way you dress, the sneakers you wear, all those things, when you are able to implement that into the metaverse, I think that will be interesting. People can get to know you pretty much the same way they get to know you in person online. I think that's what's a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, so I think we have covered a lot of different aspects on redeemable NFTs, and I would like to save some time to share with you guys what you are building on and how do you think that is important on the future redeemable NFTs or e-commerce. So start with Roland?
Yeah, sure. So again, I'm working on a CRM analysis platform for Web2 brands entering the space, providing a similar experience to what they're used to. And one of the main concerns is like, what are the metrics of Web3, right? Like, what are you looking for? Past collectible, NFT as a collectible or like NFT as a product. What do you actually want out of it? And again, what they really care about is your email and your website. So first question, can you embed NFTs within the whole experience they already have? Second question, can you disrupt the email plus website combo and create something new with wallets for them to really start using as a platform where they can control the experience and everything else? So these are interesting questions I'm working on. So I'll be sharing more a bit later on.
Yeah. Matej?
So, I mean, I'm working like in more like Web3 music industry. So we are kind of working on a software how to remotely do music interaction, for example, for artists or just amateurs like remotely. And we co-founded like a blockchain music alliance where we're trying to drive like innovation in the music industry. And NFTs are obviously part of that because that will be kind of the main infrastructure based on which we want to have everything run. So that's my part.
Yep. And we are doing a Redeem protocol that connects everything. So we connect all platforms, games, all the way to the hardware parts, the real life parts. So you may like get some characters or have some like loots in your games, in your metaverse, and then redeem them back into physical items. Your shoes, each game has shoes, and they appear at your doorsteps, at vending machines, at all parts at the shopping mall, and you can redeem them easily. We are building a protocol for everyone to build redeemable NFTs easily. And as I know, Guillermo is starting his own project as a sneaker shop that has tied to Web3.
Yeah, I own a concept store in Barcelona, Spain, which is all about streetwear and also helping small brands to grow within the Spanish ecosystem. And what I'm trying to do there as well is starting implementing this NFT and this whole Web3 ecosystem into the commerce part to just see how it goes, and then, you know, based on that, just build some success stories that we can start implementing to other businesses.
So we are really happy to see how Web3 is going to impact us on all aspects of life and commerce. And that will be our session today. So I think the time is up, but if anyone has any questions, you can either ask or find us. We're just like nearby. Yeah. So.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
I think there's some questions. Is it okay? Okay. Sorry, you just have to like find us off stage. Yeah, sorry.